I feel so sorry for so many people who have lost their homes and basically lost everything. Thankfully, uh, sadly, five people have lost their lives, but we really did think at one point it would have been so many more because it is the most destructive fire in LA history. And it is such a weird thing when you're told, look, you may have to get out, and then they say here, ready, set, go. So you have to get everything ready, you get everything packed, or as much as you can pack,
Yeah.
you get as much as you can in the car. And then you're running around thinking, what else should I take? And then eventually you just realize that you just need to take the essentials.
So to LA, where it's morning time there now, but out of control wildfires continue to rage across Southern California.
Apocalyptic. Entire neighborhoods are burning. Over 10,000 acres in Pacific Palisades alone. And the smoke everyone's breathing is being described as a toxic soup. 5 people already dead. They were burned alive. Hundreds of homes have been scorched.
Well, that's Fox News this morning. A new fire has erupted in the Hollywood Hills overnight. That prompted further evacuation orders. The GMB broadcaster Ross King has had to evacuate his home. He joins us live now from LA. Ross, first of all, that's very, very difficult for you. What happened or what has happened to your home? Do you know?
Yeah, good morning, ladies. I'm very fortunate. I'm actually now back in the home. The evacuation order has been lifted partly, and then in another 6 minutes here, the evacuation order will be lifted completely. It's just incredibly lucky, to be back in the house, to have left it with the thought of, will I actually ever see the house again? I feel so sorry for so many people who have lost their homes and basically lost everything. Thankfully, sadly, five people have lost their lives, but we really did think at one point it would have been so many more because it is the most destructive fire in LA history. And it is such a weird thing when you're told, look, you may have to get out, and then they say here, ready, set, go. So you have to get everything ready, you get everything packed, or as much as you can pack,
Yeah.
you get as much as you can in the car. And then you're running around thinking, what else should I take? And then eventually you just realize that you just need to take the essentials, and you stop thinking about memorabilia. I'm very lucky over my years in the business, all the memorabilia that I've collected, and you look at something, you say, should I take that? Even as I look at this picture here, you know, it was just now a matter of hours ago. I was thinking, what do I take? And then you realize, of course, the one main thing you have to make sure is you yourself get out safely. Horrendous times out here.
Yeah, really.
Apocalyptic, which sounds very dramatic.
No. I mean, I've
But
looked
that
at.
certainly is how it feels.
Yeah, I've heard some of the accounts, I've seen the images, and you're right, it sounds absolutely terrifying, and you're there. I mean, can I ask, is there a smell in the air? Is it
Oh,
obvious?
absolutely. I'll be honest. I've not long got up. We were broadcasting basically through the night, and I grabbed just a few little Zeds. But the minute I opened the door and the windows this morning, the smell of smoke is so heavy. There's soot absolutely everywhere. Where I am is in the Hollywood Hills, right up by the Hollywood sign, and the Sunset Fire, as it was called, is just like the next canyon over. And Runyon Canyon is where the fire there started. It's one that people probably know from movies and in magazines of where the film stars do their hiking and things like that. But they were so terrified of this. I spoke with fire chiefs, and certainly with things in the Pacific Palisades still so bad. They said these are the fires that we just absolutely dreaded. And certainly when it comes to the one that we're talking about there, the Sunset Fire, the fear was that the fire would go all the way down Runyon Canyon and then go into what is a very heavy populated area of Hollywood. So you've got places there, obviously like the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where people come out on holiday and look at the Dolby Theatre, where they have the Oscars. All these places were completely within the evacuation zone. So eerily quiet. And at the moment, obviously, it's still very early in the morning, 7:27 here. The smell is just horrible. But again, your heart goes out to people who have lost so much.
And we're hearing over here that the fire service is under-resourced. I mean, could it be that, or is it simply that this was the fire that they hoped, as you said, would never happen?
Yeah, no, I think Mother Nature is a phenomenal thing, as we know, and we got warning a couple of days ago that something pretty bad may well happen, and it's the wind. It has been, for want of a better description, the perfect storm, and we've had the Santa Ana winds, warm winds, and then these winds are so unpredictable. The wind swirls so. As far as the firefighters go, it's very hard for them to even drive the fire in a way that they normally would to contain it. The winds are just swirling, so it's sending the fire whatever way Mother Nature wants to send the fire. They're struggling. Certainly, I would say yes, they are probably underfunded. I know that something like 17.6 million was taken away from their budget the last time round, and that money I think was to be proportioned towards homeless and other things out here. But they have been struggling. There's certainly been cases when they've gone to hydrants and there's no water, low water pressure. But thankfully, those winds that I talked about, which have been so unpredictable and just so bad for the firefighters, in the last 24 hours, the winds have dropped a little bit. So in terms of the Sunset Fire, we're so lucky, and we could watch it, from the house here, and the helicopters could come in and drop water, and that was the most incredible thing. And to watch the skill of these helicopter pilots and just dropping this blanket of water and actually taking out huge parts of the fire was just absolutely amazing.
Well, incredible, and obviously very, very brave people. And to those people who are commenting unpleasantly, as they always do, that this is only affecting the very rich, and anyway, insurance companies will make sure that they get their mansions rebuilt. There are some really very poor people, very vulnerable people, all involved in all this too.
Oh, absolutely. At one point yesterday, we had something like 12 fires on the go out here. And yes, certainly, media, and again, I can understand it, focuses on areas like Pacific Palisades where there are a lot of multi-million dollar homes. But there are also very normal homes, and that certainly goes for the other fires, the Eaton fire as well. As I've said before, that when it comes to homes, it's just your home, whether it's a multi-million dollar home or whether it's a tiny little home, it's people's homes, and they've lost them, and they've lost everything that, their dream out here, the Californian dream of having a place. And it is an absolute disaster zone. A lot of places, even in Malibu, when people will talk about those amazing beach homes that are right along, people again see it in movies. You take that drive along the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, and the beach house homes that you see on the left-hand side as you're driving out of Malibu. There's over 100 of those have just gone completely. But they can't even get insurance, a lot of those people down there in Malibu anyway, because the sea is eroding the coastline
Yeah.
there. So it isn't just rich and famous that have been affected by this, and it's such a large area of LA and LA County that has been affected. So yeah, I mean, I think the simple fact is you have to have so much compassion for what people have lost.
Well, I'm glad that in your case things have worked out. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Ross. That's
Thank you.
Ross King, who is a showbiz reporter and much else besides, works on Good Morning Britain.
Mary Martin has sent us a message accompanied by a photograph. This was my daughter's view from her front garden yesterday afternoon. The smoke is billowing across the horizon. You can barely see, I'd say, more than about 100 metres in front. They're packed and ready to go, but holding on for the moment. My son and his partner took off for San Diego last night because they could see the flames on the Hollywood Hills. Very stressful for everybody. They haven't had a decent rainfall for 8 months, so it's no surprise that the fires are spreading so fast. I think sympathy for everybody is probably appropriate.